Hi, this is going to be part 2 of chapter 10 of United as One. I make out a shimmer of cobalt blue on the grassy mountainside adjacent to the falls. That's the newly grown Laurelite stone, the new one Orgarje teleported with. And parked around it, the three skimmers that Lexa spotted. You see him? Lexa asks. Yeah, I reply. Not seeing any movement though. Hold on, let me enhance the image. I hear Lexa tap out a few commands on her console. A moment later, the view from the window blurs and then expands. Now we are zoomed in on the Laurelite stone and the ship surrounding it. The camera, which must be mounted on the underside of her shift, effortlessly tracks the stone as we glide through the air above. Whoa, Daniela says. Cool. Now I can make out more details of the three skimmers. Only one of them actually looks intact, with its ramp extended and the cockpit doors open. The second skimmer has a ribbon of black smoke curling away from its engine, like something recently exploded there. And the third skimmer is overturned on its side, half in the Russian river that leads to the falls. The ship shudders even now. Any minute the current will take it over the edge. It looks like the Gondorians got more than what they bargained for. Even so, I don't see any signs of life below. That makes me nervous. How do you want to play it? Lexa asks. I think I questioned over a second. Bring us down in the open. Our approach wasn't exactly subtle. Anyone with eyes probably spotted us already. You'd think the Mox would be shooting at us by now, Sam says, frowning at the scene on the screen as Lexa brings us around for a landing. Could be an ambush, I say. Or they could have had more ships. Maybe we're too late. They could have already nabbed these kids and jetted back into their warship, Daniela suggests grimly. Let's hope not, I reply. Lexa set us down as close to the Laurelite stone as possible, near the undamaged skimmer. Now that we are on the ground, she returns the windows to normal. Ella stares at her glowing stone, seemingly mesmerized. We need help. We need to help the government secure the rest of these places, she says after a moment. If the Mox find them at first, the new Gargic would end up teleporting right into their hands. Could you make contact with them again? I ask. If they are coming to fight, maybe we could tell them all to teleport here. Ella shakes her head. My range isn't that strong anymore, she says. We could post it on YouTube, Sam says dryly. No YouTube, ever, I reply. We'll just have to trust Lawson and his people will do the right by then. Glad I'm with you guys and not detained, Danella says. Lexa puts us on an angle so that our exit ramp will open towards the falls. That means no threats. We'll be able to come from behind us, and we'll be able to use the ship for cover if this is an ambush. Any Mox looking to attack us will be coming from the small patch of evergreen forest to the north. That little forest is half flooded by the river as it rages its way towards the falls, so we should have an advantage if we keep to the solid ground. Ready? Lexa asks. I nod. She deploys the ramp. No one starts shooting. I'm not sure I'd hear the blaster fire over that cacophony of the waterfall anyway. Adam should be on the com, I say to Alexa. Call in. Tell him we have arrived and see if he's picked up any mock chatter. Otherwise, keep the ship ready to haul ass in case we need to leave in a hurry. You got it, Lexa replies. I extend my arm and Regal immediately lands on my forearm, his talons careful not to clutch too tightly. Scut it out, I tell the Chimera, and he whips away through the exit and into the blue sky. I start towards the ramp after him, motioning to Danella. Come on, get up in front of me. Anything that seems hostile, go ahead and turn it to stone. Danella smirks, but I can tell that she's nervous. Let's do this. With Danella and me leading the way, we edge our way down the ramp. I glance to the side quickly, sensing motion, but it's just Sam picking up a jagged rock from the river with his telekinesis. He shrugs at me. In case I need to clobber someone, he says quietly. Danella's gaze starts, and about as we make our way around the front of her ship and approach the burn-up skimmer. Bandit trundles alongside us as we move slowly north. The raccoon has gotten bigger since we landed, puffed up, his claws now a vicious length. He scratches at the dirt, ready to charge at the first sight of the danger. His claws kick up a chalky gray substance that I immediately recognize. Mogadorian ash. Pretty fresh, considering that it hasn't all blown away yet. And there, next to the ash, the left behind weapons of some killed Batworm. There was definitely a fight here, and the Mox took casualties. The Newies did some damage, I say. No kidding, Sam replies, eyeing the smoking skimmer. On closer examination, it looks like a grenade went off right in the ship's cockpit. Something exploded, that's for sure. I'm just not sure what. I glance behind us and see Ella drifting away from our tight little group. She's headed towards the Lorelite Stone, which would put her right out in the open. Ella, I hiss. Stay close. She whips at me without looking away from the stone. I'll be fine, Six. Sam and I exchange a look. I guess you get pretty daring when you can see the future, Sam says. Or when you've already died once, I reply. Trusting that Ella can take care of herself, I lead the others cautiously towards the woods. We pass by the skimmer that landed safely, then edge closer to the river and the skimmer that's been flipped into the depths. Daniela puts a hand on my arm. You hear that? At first I didn't hear anything, except the water. But then I make out a droning buzz, high-pitched and incessant. I squint at the skimmer in the river. It looks blurry, strange somehow. Bugs, even half submerged in water, the Mogadorian ship is covered by a swarm of bugs. There have to be thousands of them. Bees and gnats and flies, and who knows what else, darting in and out of the engine vents, crawling over the armor hull. They only break away when the river water laps at them. The beekeeper at work, Sam says. Has to be. I agree. Then motion us forward. I'm feeling a lot more confident about this mission. In fact, it doesn't seem to be a rescue at all. From above, ringing out over the pounding waves and the buzzing bugs, comes a piercing shriek. A falcon's cry. Wriggles sending up a warning. The hell is that? Daniela yelps, pointing into the sky. From the tree line, a glowing object was just lobbed directly towards us. It floats through the air on an impossible arc. There's telekinesis guiding it. For sure, if I had to guess, I'd say someone just tossed a pine cone at us. Except I've never seen one pulsing red waves of crimson energy like this one. A vision of the blown-up skimmer we just walked by suddenly comes to mind. Shoot that, I say to Daniela. I didn't have to bother. She's already on it. A silver thin current of energy bursts forth from Daniela's eyes. The force of it actually looks painful, and Daniela gasps when it happens. Her aim is true, though, and the glowing pinnacone is soon just a hunk of some stone flying through the sky. Not wanting to take any chances, I swat the rock down with my telekinesis. It lands about 20 yards in front of us and immediately explodes. The red energy from the charged pinnacle shredding Daniela's stone carapace. We get hit with a few pebbles, but it's otherwise harmless. I'm not sure what the blast would have been like if Daniela hadn't muffled it. There, Sam yells, pointing at the edge of the woods. I see her too, the frail-looking Japanese girl from the video. She stands where the trees thin out, close to the river, shin deep in the water. She must have been hiding before and popped out of the cover as we approach. There's a cut above her eyebrow, and blood trickles down the side of her face. She's scuffed up, and on her arms I can see the telltale burns from Mogadorian blasters. She stares at us, uncertain. Then she quickly bends down and grabs a handful of rocks from the river. In her hands, these all start to glow. Don't do that! I shout as the girl jerks her arms back like she's going to throw. Easy, Ran, easy, shouts a second voice. It's a punk-looking British kid who filmed the video that brought us here. Nigel, I think that's his name was. He darts out of the trees, splashes through the shallow water, and grabs Ran around the waist. Ran breaks from her attack trance when Nigel grabs her and lifts her up. The stones slip free from her hands and splash into the water. A few heartbeats later, half a dozen geysers of water explode upwards where the stones detonated. She makes grenades, Sam says. That should be useful. That's badass. Why couldn't I get that one? Daniela complains, rubbing her head. Holding Ran with one arm now, Nigel whips at us. The other two, Bertrand and Fleer, cautiously emerge from the trees. They both hold Mogadorian blasters. I get a weird feeling of nostalgia looking at this ragtag group. Is this what we used to look like after surviving those early skirmishes? Good afternoon, Ellie and Alice. Nigel yells cheerily, advancing towards us ahead of the others. Bloody took you long enough. And this is the end of chapter 10. All of chapter 10 is all done now.